Stephanie, I think you're here, and I don't know if you got my last email. Do you mind sharing what you were texting and emailing me last night?
Sure. Okay. So I'm gonna back it up a little bit.
Actually, can I tee this up? I don't think you're going to mind.
Okay.
Stephanie was at least part of the inspiration for yesterday because it
I
was
think I
really
was all of the inspiration for
no,
that.
you definitely weren't. Honestly, you weren't. You might have been the tipping point. Meaning, I've heard a lot of the similar struggles that you were expressing to me earlier in the week, Monday or Tuesday, and it really got me thinking. Like when we were talking on Tuesday, there was a lot of dead air because I was literally processing and trying to think through really, truly, how can I help with this thing that is not strategy or tactic related per se? And some of it was more just expectations or just action oriented, but there was some mindset in it. Sorry, I didn't mean to derail.
Okay. I don't know that I came to the process expecting it to prove it to me. That would be my only point of contention with what you have
And
shared.
that was more for the benefit of everyone. Not that's not me speaking to you. I just know from experience lots of people of all shapes and sizes and not just realtors that they will buy trainings and courses and education or whatever and bring the mindset of I'm going to make this thing prove to me it's going to work versus I'm just going to assume that I'm going to win and I need to figure out how this thing is going to help me win.
You had sent me a message yesterday, and it really did flip a switch in my head because I am a numbers person, and I've known this for a long time. I communicate the best I can verbally, but that is not my strong suit. I am a numbers person, and so when I was coming to this process, I was like, okay, I've got to get a deal that makes the numbers work and it's a legit deal before I talk to any investors because I don't want them to think I'm stupid and all of that. So I was getting all in the weeds about the numbers. And then you sent me the message yesterday and the switch just went off. Is who cares about the deal? Just have the conversation. And so I was like, oh, okay.
Let me just take a real quick. So Stephanie found an off-market fourplex last week. That was her following step one of the blueprint. And
Yeah.
what I think maybe happened to some degree is she got too enamored or locked in on where the heck is my blueprint here? She got too caught up in like this one thing. This one deal is the mechanism or the bait to have more conversations. Okay. Regardless of if it is not for her to decide if it's a good deal, it's for the actual investor or interested party to decide whether or not this is a good deal, whether or not it fits their buy box. And so she had found that off market deal. And she even had a past client, or I think it was a past client, or go and look at the deal. And then she messaged me like, hey, I don't think this is really good. It's run down. It's in this bad part of town, et cetera, et cetera. And that's when I said, Stephanie, have you reached out to the 17 multifamily buyers in LeadDeck in that zip code? No, I haven't. Let's do that. Let them decide whether or not it's a deal. Because if it's a yes, great. Let's go check it out. And if it's a no, great. What would be a deal for you? And so that was the jumping off point that she texts me last night. And you can, I'm sure people would love to hear it in your words, not mine. But I wanted to connect some of the dots for folks that maybe had no context. She sent OMG the opportunities. And I was like, what are you talking about? What do you mean? So she started emailing me and maybe Stephanie, if you can close the
Okay.
loop on it then.
Okay, so I was feeling not good yesterday. I was really tired. I didn't sleep well the night before. And honestly, I'm going to tell on myself, I didn't do much during the work session. Anyway, I got started late. But later in the afternoon, I was like, okay, I need to get onto these 17. I told Josh I was going to do it, which is great because it's accountability for me. And so I texted. I didn't even call. You know what? I did call. I called these people first. I didn't get a hold of anybody. So I sent the text, and three of them got back to me.
You texted all 17 or all but
No,
17
I
could?
texted, I called four and I texted four. Three of them got back to me. But at any rate, I talked to three. I talked to three. I found, okay, I'm going to share my screen. I want to show you. Okay,
Oh,
so I want to
hold on.
share this. I have,
This is a great tool too, because she started emailing me these PDF summaries, and I'm like, what are you? First of all, I was thinking, I hope to God she is not creating these things herself, because then I got to have another conversation with them. Like, don't go this deep into this. And then she said, no, I'm using something that records my call and then puts together these reports. You should be able to share your screen now. And Danny, I'm going to get to your question. This is a great question in the chat. I will get to your question after story time.
okay, so I have this app and it just records my phone call. So in Texas, I'm allowed to do that with As long as I know that I'm being recorded as a participant in the conversation, I can record it. That's all.
And honestly, like publishing, et
Yeah,
cetera. So I'm sure CocoNote.app is what she's using for this. CocoNote, CoCoNote.app. I would assume if you're not going to publish this information or whatever, again, I don't know the laws, but Pennsylvania is a two-party state. I would assume if I'm just using this for my own knowledge, I can't imagine
right.
it's a big a deal.
So anyway, it records the call, then it gives me a summary of the call. So I've got this overview. So this is one person that I found. It's a 10-acre property. This is the really cool part right down here.
This is an RV park?
Yeah,
Oh, Stephanie, I have the buyer for you.
get in line.
Okay, all right, fine.
Okay, so
Look at
here
that confidence. Look at that confidence. Let's go. I love it. Sorry, go ahead.
So here's the convenience store. He's making 8,000 a month, RV 650 per pad, and he's got 17, he told me, but then his financials came across with 10, so I don't know if he's not at capacity yet, but he said there's enough room to make up to 60 pad sites. He's got this couple taco stands, but at any rate, his income is almost 20 grand for the month. And so that
The
was one
taco
that I
stands are part of
found.
the RV park, or is this all in one, or is this
Yeah,
like,
it's all in
oh
one.
wow,
So he's
okay.
got 10 acres. He's got an apartment building. Yeah, so this he's got 3 units upstairs, one large unit downstairs, which I don't really know what he's I'm gonna go see it tomorrow.
I want to
And
hold on, Stephanie, one second. For those of you thinking like this is way beyond, I just want to sell single family houses, townhomes, etc. Like this type of thing happens all the time, regardless of asset type. So Stephanie, she chose a multifamily property to use as bait. And when you do that and you start reaching out to those buyers, generally speaking, that is a different type of buyer. When I'm reaching out to the traditional cash buyer that I can look in their portfolio, they're buying single family houses. That's it's still a great buyer. It's still a great conversation. It's a different type of buyer and or investor, right? So don't get lost in the fact that like a 10-acre RV park. What do I like? The point is like all Stephanie did was maybe not suspend disbelief, but she called and texted four of 17 multifamily buyers in one zip code using the thing.
yes. And it wasn't even the zip code of this
Oh.
property. Okay. So
Well, so the property that he has is not that property, but he has to own one in that. Otherwise, he wouldn't have been on the list, I would think.
I have
He would
no
be,
idea how he got on the list, but that was a Georgetown list, and
right.
this property is not in Georgetown.
Stephanie, this output we are seeing, this is actually a conversation that this app recorded and you're getting this information spit out like this.
Yes,
Cool.
yes. And so I didn't even, okay, so my text to these folks were from LeadDeck. I had gotten their property, the last one that they had bought or whatever. And so I sent out, hey, this is Stephanie with EXP. I'm reaching out about your property at whatever the address is. I'm inquiring on behalf of a private client looking to buy an MF investment in whatever location city it was in.
Multifamily people, keep it clean.
Thank you. Yeah.
Okay, I would think y'all would know that. All right.
I'll be honest, you texted that me the other day, and it took me a second. I was like, okay, I got it.
Okay,
I
so
got
get
it.
your
Yeah.
mind out of the gutter there. Okay, and I was curious if you would be open to looking at an offer. So I didn't even bring to them this
Wait a minute.
garbage
I'm sorry.
investment in
Hold on.
Georgetown.
So you pulled the active multifamily buyers, but you asked them about their asset that you saw
Yes,
in the deck? Look at you.
yes,
Look at you.
yes.
Okay.
Yeah, and 3 of them said yes. Oh my gosh, one of them said, I can't believe you called me. This is the perfect timing. I want to sell this. He tried to sell, he's got 2 lots overlooking Lake Travis. They're 2-acre lots right next to each other. They have waterfront views. They actually touch the water. He's tried to sell them in the past for a combination of, I don't know, 750 to 800-ish. He told me at the beginning of the conversation that he'd sell them for 700, but then by the end of the conversation, he said, "You know what? If you buy both of them, I'll sell them for 625." So
For the
that was
vacated
cool.
buyers for that zip code?
I don't know yet. That I don't know about buyers for, but I do have the client that went with me to Georgetown. He's a custom builder, so maybe he can help me find some buyers for that.
Absolutely. So this probably isn't for you. Who do you know that might be interested? I have 2 waterfront lots. He had tried to sell them before. He's drastically reduced the price he's expecting for them. You probably know someone. Yeah.
Okay. And
Yeah.
then I need to pull up this other one. This guy was great too.
Can I ask, because I cut you off and I didn't mean to. Can you say again what you said, what your message was to them? Because you didn't
Sure.
use the default message for buyers would have been something along the lines, "Hey, Stephanie, this is Josh with eXp Realty. It looks like you're a pretty active investor here in the Georgetown area. I have an off-market fourplex that might be a good deal for the right investor. Are you looking for any deals right now or know anybody who might be?" Stephanie didn't do that because she had already went and looked at that fourplex. She had decided it's not a good deal, which we can have a debate about whether or not she should have made that determination. But whatever she pivoted to worked. So kudos. And I cut you off, so or either my brain did. Can you share again what that message was?
Okay, I got this message from you somewhere.
Okay.
Okay, so I said, hi, whatever, the person's name. This is Stephanie with eXp Realty. I'm reaching about your property at their address. I'm inquiring on behalf of a private client looking to buy whatever it is in whatever city it is. And I was curious if you would be open to looking at an offer. Thanks so much, Stephanie. And then here's one. He goes, yes, my phone number is, which I had already called him. Call me if you are serious. So I called him again and I said, hi, got your VM again. When is a good time to reach you? And then he sent back, give me a few minutes, call you. And I was like, okay, good. So he called me back. And this was the guy who said it was a really good timing because he's wanting to sell these two properties and he lives out of state. So he's not going to build on
I
them.
just want to reiterate again. Stephanie reached out to 4 people and had a phone conversation with 3 out of the.
Yeah.
I just
And this guy right here, this Gerald, he's got 2 adjacent lots. These are commercial properties on the tollway.
is that good? I don't know what that.
That's good. You could do all kinds of stuff with them. He has 2 little small houses on them, and then there's a big yard on the tollway that you can do. He was thinking that he'd put a mini storage in there because it has tollway frontage. He's got 2 properties. This one he doesn't want to sell, I don't think. But the other one that came up in LeadDeck, he does want to sell, but he's making 3,400 and 2,600 on that property with the 2 small houses, and the yard is not being utilized. So that could be turned into something too. But he said he would list this one. So I told him I'm going to check
So
with my buyers.
one of the reasons why I was hoping that you would be open to this and open to sharing. Number one, obviously, very transparently, like we want to hear and see more people having success with the tool because we want more people using it. I put a link in the chat. If you're interested, we have something, we're doing we're calling it a 3-day DealSprint Win Your Money Back Challenge. And if you go to, I'm sorry, I put the wrong link. You can go to that link, but that's just a sign up page. I want you to get an idea of what we're doing. LeadDeck.AI/deals. But I also wanted you to share because this is wonderful, but now we have to figure out what do I do? Because you went from not having a ton of opportunity to like, wow, all of this, holy smokes. And maybe you've already done this. And if so, that would be instructive. And if you haven't, some sort of plan, okay, what am I going to do with these different opportunities? And then I would approach this the same way I think you should approach if you go to an in-person seminar or workshop or a virtual seminar or workshop. We get all these ideas, but we got to boil it down to what are the most important things and in what order should I implement these ideas? In this case, in my opinion, it's in what order should I work these opportunities? And I like to start with what I know and the information, like my knowledge of the market, my knowledge of what I'm comfortable with, etc. Where is the fastest path to a closed transaction? Start there and then work your way down the list. At least that's the way I look at it and think through it when I have an opportunity like that, where it's I got this thing and I got this thing and I could do this and that. And so creating a plan and mapping out, okay, next best step on this property is this. Next best step on or steps on this one is this, etc. Have you done any of that? Have you thought through any of
No,
that? And do you need
no, are you kidding
Okay,
me? No.
okay.
So I really do I need your help sifting and figuring out what the next steps are.
So just from that one that you talked through for me, just from what you shared, number one, you mentioned there was something in there that he was willing to list as soon as possible. Nail that down and get that thing listed as soon as possible, because that is an asset for you that whether or not you sell it, and obviously you want to sell it, but whether or not you sell it, that is an asset that will bring you more opportunity, inbound, people chasing you. So that would be number one. Number
Okay,
two, those
so
2 lots that you mentioned, I would absolutely reach out to the fellow that you know already and anyone else that you can think of, and not if they're interested. It's, hey, who do you know that might be interested? This seems like it might be a great opportunity. We'll probably list it, but right now it's off market, so you don't even have to be competing on this thing. And then number three, you said the RV park, get in line. So you obviously, I think, have some ideas of where that might go. I don't know if you talked about listing that one, or if you just want to, if you're going to try and put together a deal off market. That
Yeah.
will take the longest. From what you shared to me, that's going to have the longest due diligence and underwriting process to actually get a closed transaction. And yet that will also have the biggest payday. So that's the tug of war there. Does that help? Is there anything
Yep.
else from that?
Let's see, I've got the 2 lots overlooking the lake. I've got another lot that's about 2 acres.
Is that the one that he said he would list? Didn't you say there was something in there that he said he would list? Or was that a different
I'm gonna have to go back through and look at the
one? Okay.
notes now.
Okay. That's good that you have them.
Yeah. And then there's the guy who has the tollway property. He said he would list.
Okay, so that was a different guy. That's the thing
Mhm.
that I heard that I was like, he said he would list. Let's get
Mhm.
that thing. If he said yes to that, then the sooner the better. Money follows speed and time kills all deals. So I would be sending him that listing documentation this afternoon if you can, or this morning.
I guess I didn't chase that immediately because I didn't want him to think I was a bait and switcher. I told him I had clients. I want to see if that works for them. And
Perfect. Okay. So here's how I think about that and would approach that. I would send him a personal video message or an email, doesn't matter, just documentation. Hey, we had this conversation yesterday. Here's some of the things we talked about. Oh, by the way, I've already looked and started to work on the buyers for this particular property. And I've even started to share this. Like my buddy John, the guy who's all into it and he likes to see, I showed him yesterday in LeadDeck, hey, just so you know, I've reached out to these 30 active landlord buyers about your property. And I literally showed it to him. This is a tool. And I told him this is a tool we built to help clients like yourself so that we're leaving no stone unturned. So I wouldn't even have a problem showing that because especially folks like this, the investor types, they think it's great. They really appreciate that and associate that with, hey, you're a hustler. You're different. You're not just like every other agent who's calling me to do that. So I would find some way to demonstrate that you're already working on his behalf. And oh, by the way, in our conversation, you mentioned about listing it. Let's face it, to get as many potentially interested parties and eyeballs on the property, we should probably do that as well. And that's not going to stop me from continuing to work to find the right buyer. But the sooner the better if we want to get this thing sold. So I wouldn't just immediately go to, hey, you said you would list, so I'm sending you listing. I would demonstrate in some form or fashion that I've already started to work on this for you before even knowing for sure that we're going to proceed with listing it. And I would also use phrasing like, I would say something like, would you be totally opposed to getting it listed as early as next week? Or did you want to hold off for the time being? I would present it in ways that they almost like when you present it as a double negative, are you totally opposed to? Then they're like, no, I'm not totally opposed to that. All right, then what are we waiting for? Let's get this thing on the market and get exposure to it. So the words and the languaging that you include in there can make a big difference in how they respond to it.
Can I add something?
Yes, please.
I used that same phrasing the other day it was an actual referral, and these people just won't get off the fence. They're looking at some cash offers and it needs a lot of work. And I didn't get a reply from it, but exactly what you're saying. I'm like, I'm just gonna go find other buyers. So when we do this sprint Monday through Wednesday, I'm gonna use that property. It's a great property for somebody that's gonna remodel. So I'll just do the work.
I can think of no better way to convert off-market sellers into listing opportunities than actually doing the work that you would do anyway if it were your listing and show them that you're already doing it because who else is going to do that? And also, the benefit to you is, and Stephanie has already experienced this, from 4 calls and texts, she now has a massive amount of potential listings and deals, etc., from an expired listing that really isn't that great a deal other than it's off market and there's not much available like that in her market, right? So the benefit to you to working on their behalf is you're just going to get, it's just more opportunities going to find you anyway. So who cares if you get the FISBO to list with you? Because when you do enough of this, because this is part of my message to Stephanie when we were that led to the inspiration of yesterday morning, yada yada, is one of the things she said was, you keep saying that I had a win last week. I don't feel like that's a win. And I said, how many other people have you talked, like how many other conversations have you had in the last 7 days? This was on Tuesday. It was after the mastermind. That's, yeah, for sure. It was Tuesday. And you had found the off market expired the Tuesday before. And so in a week's time, I said, how many other conversations? And she was like, I don't know, maybe a couple. And I said, that's why if you had more conversations, you may have already forgotten about the quadplex because you have so much other opportunity that is real and there's more motivation or there's more demand or whatever that you wouldn't even care anymore. And it's not that you're discarding or whatever, but when you have enough opportunity, deal flow, pipeline, you have to, it is your job to put an emphasis on the people that you can help like most readily. If not, you're not doing the right thing for your business. I'm fighting this right now because I have a list of 8 people from that text message yesterday that I got to do some kind of follow-up with. I've got a workshop at noon. I've got a settlement at 1 that I'm already going to be late for, and potentially an appointment later in the day. You want to have so much opportunity that you have to triage what to focus on and specifically choose what to focus on that is the marriage of the people you can help the fastest, and I'll say the easiest, but like the people that you have the most amount of certainty that you can help, and dwindle it down from that. Start with the people that you are the most certain that you can help and then work your way down from that. The problem is most people don't have enough in their pipeline to even be able to do that. And that's the problem that we're trying to help agents fix who are using the tool and plugging into some of the other stuff that we're doing, because it completely changes. You still have problems. They're just different level of problems. Now the problem is, how do I decide who I should help first and who needs my help more and who I'm most certain that I can help?